Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Real honor for us today. We have two of the lead people from SONM with us. Of course, we've talked a lot about SONM on this channel. I'd like to give a big shout out to Brandon as well. He kind of helped, get this all to happen. So really thank you, Brandon, for helping put us all together. So today we have with us Eugene. Eugene is the head of research at SONM. And we have Igor. His video's out at the moment, but he'll be back and forth with the video. Hey, he's coming back now. Perfect. There's Igor, and he is the CTO over at SONM. So, guys, welcome.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, nice to meet you.
So, my first question is this. For anybody who hasn't looked at SONM a lot, for anybody who kind of might not be aware of what your project is, can you just, in maybe a minute, tell us what SONM is trying to do? Just the short version.
Yeah. So the short idea, just the basic idea of SONM is to build a marketplace between those who has some computer resources and they want to get some money, like miners in cryptocurrency, but we want not only mining to occur on PCs. We want some other tasks to be occurred, like Boeing does, and even more. We want to compete even with maybe Amazon sometimes, and we want to provide some sort of cloud services, but they will be distributed to the network of miners. So we've got miners who want to rent their resources, rent their PCs, and we've got some people, maybe business people, maybe some scientists who want to rent these resources and to run certain tasks on them. And they are going to pay money for that. So that's the main idea of SONM.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, obviously, when people talk about SONM, a lot of people talk about Golem. And so, do you see them as your number one competitor in this space? And if so, is there enough room for both of you?
Well, actually, we don't see Golem as our primary competitor because they are not doing the same thing that we do. Golem is about deterministic computing. They compete with Boeing and Gridcoin, maybe this way. And we want to go to general purpose computing. So, of course, we will implement the deterministic computing such as machine learning, rendering, and 3D modeling, etc., etc. But we want to implement use cases such as hosting, maybe big data processing, maybe some sorts of smart cities, ERP systems. So we want to go really to we want to create some sort of cloud services that is universal and general purpose. So we may consider Golem to be our competitors at the primary stage of our project. But if we talk about our MVP, minimal viable product, and if we talk about our release that is going to be next summer, that will be released, we will implement some other cases. Even while we went to ICO, we produced a Quake server as our use case.
What I want to say is the following point. There are two possible types of competitors here. First of them, as you possibly can imagine, are the other supercomputer attempts. One of them is Golem itself, another of them can be mentioned as the iExec, another one is a Gridcoin, or for example, what else is Elastic. So those are attempts to build supercomputers based on the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And all of those projects are decentralized by their nature, but all of them has different approach to computations. As Eugene has mentioned, Golem has different approach. He has grids. They have a grid system. And the second group of possible competitors, and I would like to say that we look closely at them as a traditional cloud computing companies. For example, Google, Amazon, and in some terms Microsoft, but Microsoft is not because they have their own stack based on Windows and they have their own virtualization. So two groups. In one group there is Golem, iExec, Elastic, Gridcoin, and the second group is Google and Amazon. And what we are trying to say that the general computing we are currently implementing with Docker containers, we are aiming closely to the Google or Amazon approach. Because we would like, we have two types of customers, two groups of people. One group is that people that provide the hardware, and from their point of view, we may look similar to Golem, because all of those projects want to acquire their equipment. But from the customers that would like to launch their applications, we would look similar to what Google and or Amazon can offer you as their cloud services. So you can go and rent space to run your Docker container on Google or on Amazon or in SONM. And from that point of view, that would look similar to Google, Amazon. Okay,
Very
this
interesting.
is my point.
That's great. Well, I like that you're going for, right for the big guys. Why? Just, think big, and I like that. I like that. Now, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you are coming with your roadmap. How are you going with completing your targets, and maybe what are some of the problems that you can see in trying to complete the targets on your roadmap?
Okay, I'll start, Igor. You'll
Of course,
if I'm wrong.
it's your speech today, as we agreed, but I will just connect if I think something is wrong.
Okay. So this is a very tricky question because it's our pain at the moment. We've got a Q&A session on Monday, So this question was asked, I think, 5 times. We tried to answer it, and there were 10 times it appeared in questions in the list. So at the moment we didn't release the 0.03 version that we promised to release in September if we look at our roadmap in white paper. So the reason behind it is that this roadmap was not written as a roadmap that states features. It states just some technical functions that 0.3 version should implement, but it doesn't state whether it will be run at testnet Ethereum or LiveNet Ethereum. It doesn't state which use cases that users should expect to be implemented. It doesn't state this. It's just some technical features about networking, about some options to run containers. It's very difficult for us. We realized that it was very difficult for us to just to prepare certain requirements and to test them to start to implement 0.3. So we decided to change a little bit this point in roadmap. So we realized that we can implement a larger functionality, and actually we will release a minimal viable product, and we will release it on testnet, and it will contain all basic functions and that will be implemented in real SONM. So the scope of this release was enlarged, and we have to delay it. So the plans are to implement this testnet SONM functionality and to run testnet Ethereum testnet in winter. It may be December, it may be January. But our plans is that this particular version will contain, first of all, it will contain a wallet application that will provide a graphical user interface to for the users can join SON network and to place some orders. And another big feature that was not mentioned in our roadmap in 0.3 version is the marketplace. It's a place where some people can can settle buy orders and sell orders, and they match together. So when they match together, the customer can contract a deal in Ethereum and use the bot resources to run certain tasks, so to run containers. So that's the point. Yeah. So actually, we're building a working SON, but it will run in testnet, and we don't just fix on some technical questions. We want our community to think about use cases, not about technical points.
Yeah, good,
so,
good.
It's a little bit messy and painful, but that's the way we have to go.
As all great projects at the start, absolutely. Now, you've brought up actually some points that I wanted to ask you about next, and that is about dividends, the wallet, but also maybe how the graphic user interface is going to work, you know, so in order to use the graphic user interface, will I have to fund my account with Ethereum? Will I have to go to an exchange to buy SONM, or will I be able to use dollars, pounds, euros, rubles to buy SONM straight through the graphic user interface? And of course, also on that, will dividends only be paid in the SONM wallet, or if I'm storing my SONM on my Ether wallet, will dividends be paid there?
Okay. At the moment, we want to implement our custom wallet only for functions that are specific to SON. That is marketplace, that is buying resources, that is selling resources. And if we talk about simple token operations, it's no problem to use other wallets for them. Because SON token is ERC-20 compatible token. So any wallet that can handle these tokens can be used to get dividends and to handle SON tokens and to just transfer SON tokens to some other guys. And to transfer SON tokens to Bitcoin and Ethereum exchanges. So and we don't want to implement yet another currency exchange. We don't want to implement yet another fiat currency gate. I think that cryptocurrency community has enough players that are professional enough for this sort of work.
Eugene,
Igor?
I'm very sorry, but I have to update your answer.
You're welcome.
Let's hear it, Igor.
Basically, the current position of the, for example, Sergey Ponomarev and my own thoughts is that we will, yes, indeed, you are right that there are a lot of already existing wallets that can enable you working with ERC compatible tokens. That's indeed true. But we will implement such a function in our wallet just as a warm-up for our developers. So currently, the first function that would be in our wallet is the token transfer. And you mentioned the Ethereum, you mentioned the token transfer. Indeed, to send tokens, because the token is a smart contract, you need to have some Ethereum on such account. So basically, to work with system, you need an Ethereum account. You can generate keys with our wallets. Then, of course, you need to get the tokens somewhere, and to have an option to spend those tokens for working with some, you will have to have some Ethereum as well, and you can get both of them on some exchanges. So you install our wallet, you generate the keys, then you have to either transfer from another your own account or go to the exchange and buy Ethereum. For example, some small amount like 0.1 Ethereum amount, and of course you have to acquire some tokens of SON to have operations with SON. because even if you are going to rent your hardware and earn tokens, you will have to have some tokens in order to make your deposit, to ensure that you have some liability for making a deal. So this would be the first function of our wallet. It would be straightforward and simple, but it will be in place, the ability to send tokens and to see your balance in Ethereum and in tokens. There would also be a function to see your latest operations, but that would be based on the operations made with this particular wallet instance. Because if you have the same keys on another wallet and you make operation there, there are two options. We will either make all operations visible in all of your wallets, but that would require us to scan the blockchain in order to search for another operations, or we will keep just the local implemented. And some wallets, for example, like MIS, they only display the operations that you performed locally. So I think this is the way to go for us. The second option and the other option, the functions that the wallet will provide, as Eugene already mentioned, they are the interface for working with the SONM network. For example, you will need to register a profile to say something about yourself. We don't require you to do this. If you want to stay without any information, it's okay. If some other people would be glad to work with you without information about you, that's fine. It's your own decision. So you will have an option to create your profile. Then you will have another tab which will be working with the exchanges, working with the marketplace. For example, you will have an option to buy and sell resources there. If you want to run computations or if you want to rent your resources, you will have a tab with some exchange-like interface where you can place all those orders. And finally, when we will launch the platform as a service, we will have some kind of app store there, as it would be a browser for some applications in the fog. This is about it. This is about the wallet and about tokens. And the final question about the dividends, the basic idea is described in the white paper was to make it work in this way. If you have dividends and if you transfer them to DAO, and if you are active member of the DAO, if you have transfer token there, you will receive fees from all transactions made inside SONM. So how this works? There are some transactions. Each transaction has some fees collected from it, and all of that fees are deposited to a special Ethereum address where everything is collected. And finally, when the payout, the collected amounts of fees, they are distributed among all of the DAO participants according to their balance in tokens. Mm-hmm. This was the basic idea.
Great, great. That's a really good explanation of it too. So, fantastic. Thanks for addressing that. Now, we've seen, of course, that Max Kordek from the LISC team is involved. How involved is he with the project? Is he still working with you? Is he still advising on the project? And what is your relationship with the guys over at LISC?
Yes, I think, Eugene, sorry, I will have to answer this as well because we didn't cover this yet. Yeah. Max Kordek is, as mentioned on our website, and that information is correct, he is our advisor. So he perfectly runs his own project, he's fine with it, he has LISC, and he is advising us based on his marketing experience and in some technical aspects, but more on marketing. So Max Kordek has some regular meetings with our PR and marketing team, and he gives some advice on how to position our brand, how to do things, how to communicate with community, how to develop our system, how to behave on this market, and all of that things. He just gives his experience on how to be a good project.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic, fantastic. It's one thing I've noticed about the cryptocurrency community is that there's so much positivity. There's so many people helping each other. There's so many people like Max who are, really excited to advise great projects like yours, because there's only so much one development team can do. So it's great to see them supporting you as well. Now, this takes me to my next question. I've seen recently that you have got a partnership with Selectel. Now, could you mention a little bit about that partnership? Maybe for those who don't know, tell us who Selectel is and maybe explain your partnership with them a little bit.
Yeah, okay, I'll try to explain. So Selectel is a major Russian cloud service provider. And the guys from Selectel are very, trying to be on the cutting edge of technologies. So they are interested in cryptocurrency market, and they're interested in cryptocurrency technology. And they came to ask, and we tried to find the use cases that we can help each other. So we found some use cases, and the primary one is that Selectel has its own his own services, his own branded services for the customers, but they will be backed with some resources, some network resources. These services will include, object storage with some, which will be used for backups, and it will include some extra data space with network file systems, network attached systems that users of this cloud computing will use. But this specific SON technology will be hidden from the users. They will use Selectel brand. They will use Selectel services, and Selectel will guarantee privacy. Will guarantee that all the data will be encrypted before it will be stored in a SON network, and they will charge their clients with fiat currency, with rubles. And they will use some network and some tokens to order resources from some miners, some workers.
Wow, that sounds like a really great partnership for SONM, actually.
Yeah. So that's the problem. So from the point of view of SON, Selectel is just another player in this market, and it's not just we go. We're not call Selectel as the only partner, so we don't go to some centralized cloud computing. Selectel is just another community member and just one of the users of some network. But Selectel, he has their margin for using some resources and providing his branded services to the customers.
Fantastic. That's really good. I think that's a really great partnership for you guys. Now, one question I did want to ask. Obviously, there has been a lot of drama in Russia recently with what has come out from the central bank. Does this affect your project at all, or because you're not a straight cryptocurrency, you're not Bitcoin, are you affected by this at all?
Well, at the moment we just have some risks that SON will not be able to grow in Russia. So yes, the legal authorities of Russia are not happy with cryptocurrency. They consider these projects to be the problem because of cryptocurrency is not controlled by the government. So terrorists and other, drug dealers can use this technology to survive while the country and authorities will struggle with them. But still, SON is an international project. It's not just Russian-centric, and we don't think that these particular Russian government decisions will influence our SON network if we talk about the worldwide network. Actually, we are just developers in Moscow. We don't mine coins using Ethereum, Bitcoins, or whatever. So we don't have any legal issues here. And we still are willing to provide some network, and I don't think that these decisions will have some problem for our business.
Fantastic. Igor, did you want to get on this as well?
Yeah, I would like to add some additions. Eugene mentioned everything important. I would just like to summarize it that we have to distinguish. Yes, the Russian government position is that they want to control the emission of the cryptocurrencies. This sounds a bit funny. How can they control the emission? But okay. I think the point they want to do is they want control over this. They don't really care that much about the mentioned problems as Eugene mentioned, but they want control over this because they cannot keep it without it. So we have to distinguish SONM in 2 points. The first point is SONM is a software development company which is based in Singapore, and in Russia we have the development office. Which is just doing the software development, and this has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies and other stuff. We are just software developers. And the second point of SONM is that SONM is a globally distributed system for people to rent and buy the computers. And this system, from that point of view, it is globally distributed, and Russia is only one of the market, perhaps not the biggest market, for global SONM network. And the global SONM network, we, the software developers, were not part of the deal there. So this system runs on its own, like Bitcoin network or Ethereum. Because the Ethereum is based in Switzerland, but this has nothing to do with the Ethereum network itself, because they don't really have total control over it. They can propose or release some new network or hard fork, they can propose, but they have no guarantee that people will install their software. They do it on their own. So this is similar to what we have here. We have software development, and it's fine. It's legal, and we have the global SONM network, which is something. It would be an international system that works on its own, and it lives on its own. So if it will be prohibited in Russia because it uses the cryptocurrencies, okay, it would be a -1 market. And the last point I would like to add is that cryptocurrency is essential, but not all of the system parts. And we don't say that cryptocurrency is the most important thing. We are trying to do the supercomputer. We are trying to do the distributed computer in the marketplace. This is essential. Cryptocurrency is just a mean of doing things. If someone tomorrow will invent like quantum coin transfers, I don't know, it doesn't matter. We will evaluate the thing and possibly use, because cryptocurrency or blockchain or consensus algorithm is just a way to go for us.
Fantastic.
For supercomputing.
Great. That's awesome. I think that gives anyone out there who is worried about any of this a great answer. So thank you very much for that. Now, you mentioned, of course, obviously it's an ERC-20 token. Obviously, you've based it on the Ethereum blockchain. However, I've got a question here from one of my subscribers, Donnie Darko, and he asked, what's going on with you guys and NEM? Are you doing any collaboration? Are you seeing NEM as a possible backup blockchain or something like that?
Okay, Igor just started to answer this question actually. As Igor mentioned, Ethereum smart contracts is just one of components of our system, and we want to build a system that will have pluggable components. So if there is a technology that can implement the things that we want from some smart contracts in Ethereum, we can elaborate this technology and maybe someday use it. So NEM is one of these technologies. NEM is technology that can provide an alternative to Ethereum blockchain. So we have a talk and we discussed some roadmaps, some ideas that could be implemented. So they have a certain vision on smart contracts and on Ethereum. They have their own vision how to implement things, and they are the best. Their vision is the best, as every inventor uses things. So I think that cryptocurrency will evolve, and there will be new technologies, and we are open to these technologies. At the moment, Ethereum smart contracts is the best way we have to use it, especially if we talk about some production. If we talk about some testing things, maybe there are several technologies that look better than Ethereum, but at the moment it's the only productive technology that can implement smart contracts, and it would be stable. Mm-hmm. So we're going this way. If there are some problems with Ethereum contracts, there are problems of speeds and transactions per second. It's very low. So Ethereum is to implement sharding or some another improvements, so we can easily run it and scale easily. But at the moment, Ethereum is okay, and mm-hmm. we are going to start SONM on Ethereum, as we promised in white paper. But things change. 2 years in cryptocurrency market is a very huge distance. Yeah, so everything can change at any moment.
Great.
And just a position, Eugene mentioned everything correct, and I would like to add about our plans. Currently, yes, Ethereum is the #1 solution because it's tested. It has indeed some problems, but we know those problems, and the people there are trying to solve them, and this is okay. We have some time until we launch on the Lift network for those problems to be solved, the bottlenecks, the gas price and the transactions per second. So we want to give them a try. So Ethereum is our plan A. If we also have a plan B. The plan B is to launch our own private Ethereum network with just our own Genesis blocks, so we don't have to pay gas prices, with something like proof of authority on trusted hubs. This is a plan B. But we also, we met on the conference in Barcelona, we met with SONM representatives, and they proposed an option how to live without the smart contracts based on multi-sigs and based on the tokens as a state system. So this is a possible solution. This is an alternative, and we consider this as a plan C. We will evaluate this. There are indeed some pros and cons for this. If we go for them, we can benefit from some things, but we will also have some trade-offs. Basically, we will have to rewrite some parts of our system, and another concern is that they still didn't provide a solution for, as I understand, perhaps I'm wrong, but from my personal research is that Ethereum and NEM, they are both currently monolithic blockchains. Neither of them has yet implemented something like sharding. Mm-hmm. So when any single node doesn't keep the whole blockchain. So even if they provide 4,000 transactions per second, I have the question to where will that be? Where will that information be stored? And that perhaps is a bottleneck as well. So we would like to see the vision of the future, how they're going to solve this sharding question. Mm-hmm. And based on that, we can evaluate their solution. So this is an alternative we keep an eye on. But currently we are dedicated to Ethereum because this is a proven solution. This is about it.
Very good. Now my final question here comes from Sean from Minneapolis, and he asks, hey, I see that IOTA has had some similar propositions with mist computing. Is there any competition there, or do you see that IOTA and the Tangle might be something you could work with as well? Could that be a plan D, perhaps?
Sorry, mist computing?
Yeah.
Okay, we call it fog computing.
Yeah, they got a different name for it over at IOTA, apparently.
Yeah, okay. Mist computing is also okay. Fog mist it's yeah.
The cloud. What do we want to call it? Yeah. But
yeah, cloud is.
Do you see any potential to work with IOTA, and is the Tangle something you've looked at?
The answer is yes, because IOTA, I'm not an expert in that technology, but from my personal research, what I know about them is they have some advantages. We still have to evaluate the maturity of their project. and I still, perhaps I just did not hear, but I didn't hear about any working project on that technology. Perhaps I just it's a matter of my own research being not wide. But I think this is something we can evaluate. At least they have a solution, as we mentioned, for scaling, and they have solution for transaction fees. So this is something we would like to use
Hmm.
because internally we can have micropayments because currently as we are focused on Ethereum, we try to focus on making bigger payments. We have to accumulate some amount of value and then transfer. We have some amount because we cannot really afford micropayments currently with current Ethereum development state.
Hmm.
But if we could evaluate IOTA, that could possibly work. But this is something we did not yet research in deep, and we would wait for some projects first to launch on that. On that system, if we would see successful projects running, we will evaluate it deeper.
Great. I really like how flexible you are. You say, hey, we've got this amazing project and we're looking for the best way to be able to deploy that. And whether it's another blockchain, the Tangle, our own solutions, we're serious about our project and we're going to be bringing it out. And I think that's really, really great. Guys, I think we'll go ahead and finish up there for today. I think it's been some great questions, some great answers. I think everyone will have really learned a lot. I wanted to thank you so much for taking your time to meet with us today. I know everyone who's subscribed to the channel will be really, really interested to hear this, what you have to say. So thank you so much from me and from all the subscribers for taking the time out of your day to meet with us.
Thanks, Lark. Thanks, Lark. The questions were very interesting. I think it was useful for both of us. Thanks very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Igor.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cool.
Have a nice day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.